Liu, a native of San Jose, California. He teaches at William Paterson College in New Jersey and also in the Bennington Writers Seminars in Vermont. And Timothy had a poem in the Best American Poetry of 2002, chosen by Robert Creeley. Are you prepared to read that poem for us? Well, please step forward.
Are you prepared?
Okay, the poem in Best American was called Felix Culpa, which means like the fortunate fall or happy blame. And I was thinking about how poetry now is a paradise lost. Down on all fours, the breaking of rules, the only rule. Cut off from clear lines of retreat, beguiled by excess, by like-minded folk enthroned in ever tinier courts. For some of us, it makes a big difference when someone edits Best American and they choose your poem. And I think we all doubt ourselves, we all doubt our abilities, we all doubt if we'll ever publish another poem, another book. And it meant a lot to me when Robert Greeley picked this poem, which Donald Hall first picked for his issue of Ploughshares. And I just want to recite a little poem by Robert Greeley. It's called The Rhyme. There is the sign of the flower, to borrow the theme. But what or where to recover what is not love too simply? I saw her, and behind her there were flowers, and behind them, nothing. And I'll close with just a few sections of a chapbook that's coming out next month called The Thames and Hudson Project, which I co-wrote with the poet Hansa Bergwald. Meanwhile, a candle flame floats unseen through labyrinthine sewers propelled by Iroquois steam and chariots of whiskey breath. The condom tree will bloom tonight on behalf of the broken-throated geniuses no one ever dotes upon enough. On second thought, maybe we better find those triplets, our thoughts like afterbirds, feelings like after-dinner mints. When will the prophecy of the gypsy come true? The spotlit twins unfresh from soiled sonatals come bounding up the pyramids of Vegas. Or are they Mayan ruins stuffed with Quetzalcoatl gold erupting out the cosmic anus of a swan? There's like 4 short things, you don't have to clap. It's like a little training. I'll tell you when the caboose is coming. One door closes and another we made into a table to dine off of. Chewing asparagus tips until our eyes turned green and our piss stunk of verse. And no, we won't go chasing wild geese to absolution, for geese really have no home. They only fly north to shake their martinis dry, gossip among reindeer poop, and fuck until their wings fall off. Then and only then will we walk on through the door that is now a table and meet again as if for the first time. Because all dreams are barefoot, all visions both slug and salt on the table. The icicle breaks in 2x4s under the buzzsaw glare of the sun. The plaster bust next to the jello mold toppling into affection and repulsion as we catch a dry Manhattan ferry to Absentia. It is so cold in this Hallmark store, I want to take a hot bath with 300 naked men and one razor along the perineum that joins us all. Another close shave of lather and ice scours the dawn, while lousy geometrists make circles instead of love's idiotic calculus. Teardrops, our lack of symmetry, cut lilacs, for the birds. He pours maple syrup over ice and bourbon, while under the table, something distilled from wounds thicker than sap. Let's go somewhere more private, you say, the hair across my ass like a dull brass bugle blowing taps to a PTSD nation, asking its citizens to bend over and massage each other's toes. Get back to the charred oak barrel, wait for further instruction. But you will not be schooled as you grab that wad of meds bulging in my jeans and say, I'm taking away your happiness, going to swallow every round day and leave you with yourself. Take it all, I say, only let me live inside your mouth, hidden under your tongue, until I completely dissolve. And this is the caboose. Please indulge this, because the nettles only sting when alive, because dead things are so easily severed by a blade of grass. Honeybees would rather die than eat the last of the honey. I try to find you amongst the ruined combs, the spring day that can't help but burst from carefully wrapped gifts. There is no last of the honey, only more to unwrap, only bodies underfoot to preserve a kiss in wax. Winter gone, tongues cut apart by grass, where royal dandelions hoard the sugar of the field. But where is the lion's mouth? Where is the hero who lays down for my pleasure?
Thank you, Tim. I'd like to take a moment to thank Mike Geffner, the organizer of this event, the producer of the Inspired Word series, and his team. Thank you, Mike. I wonder if Anna Ziegler is here, because if she is, oh, you're Anna Ziegler. Anna Ziegler is our next reader, and we go way back. I met her tonight about 30 seconds ago, and but I know she's a graduate of Yale and a playwright, and Linda Ginian chose a poem of hers for the Best American Poetry 2004. Oh, you were in Yusef's. Well, Yusef Komanyaka chose a poem of Anna Ziegler's Best American Poetry 2003, probably from the Three Penny Review. See? I really do know. Anna Ziegler.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Mike. I'm just going to work up to the Best American Poetry poem, just going to build the anticipation. So I'm going to start with some other ones. This is called Always. In some languages, there are no indications of tense, so that the dog jumping at the gate has jumped there and will always jump. In the twilight, front legs raised in triumph at your return. It's always rush hour and September, and the indefinable time of night when one feels alone in one's body that comes to stand for the world. So that in my life I will graduate from high school forever, meet you forever in that classroom, your glasses propped on your head as though you intended to examine things more closely. And we will feel this tenderly towards each other ad infinitum as promised, the way I don't like a day to pass without touching you, even if in 20 years we no longer know each other, because everything is as it was and will be, because some dogs jump at gates forever, wagging their tails like things possessed, stuck in time, in love for you, paws up. This is called I Decide to Do Research for a Poem and Then Change My Mind. The Shang dynasty, believed to have been founded by a rebel leader, was characterized by agriculture and augmented through hunting and animal husbandry. In Connecticut, in 1989, under a rock in what seemed a pretty big field, my brother and I buried our first pet, a newt named Fig. He died of unknown causes, and in death communed with all things, living and not living. This is called Sixth Grade Voyeur. For the first time, Gartner experiences heaven, gawking through the large glass windows of Pizza John's, where amid the pie-thrusting and grease-laden paper plates, cups half-filled, Casey Breslow and Patrick Fontaine make out at the counter in plain view. Gartner understands suddenly what a simile really is, tongues like snakes. Gartner was only 3 when he first became aware of his. An elbow of pasta not properly cooled branded a crescent on its surface, as hot as anything, dying, or Gartner now realizes, being alive. All right, I'm just going to read 2 more. This one is called The Usual Things. Nothing so quiet as a late afternoon at the beginning of autumn. You're inside, but the window is open, and every now and then a leaf finds its way onto the kitchen floor, and the dog gets it, or you sweep it up later. You're trying to read, but your mind wanders. The view of the hill and the 3 emptying trees, the barn in the distance somehow redder than usual. So many things to think about. The chaotic world, your family dispersed across it, your husband away in town doing errands, who will be back any minute with a new solution to an old problem, a power tool, a better barbecue sauce, the day's newspaper already once perused. You know he sits in the coffee shop and does the crossword. He has for years at that checkered table by the door, even though you've never talked about it. Meanwhile, you've done the dishes, clipped an article from the paper your daughter might like. Your book is on your lap, and for the first time in a long time, you think about growing old. It's not a terrible sensation, but it is sad. The way when your husband hurt his hand with the tractor, you wanted to say, that's fine, just don't use the tractor anymore. But instead, there weren't good words. Today, you feel you've been here before, in this exact place, before these hills and that very red barn, that soon you'll hear the whispering of the car down the drive, and it will be twilight and dinner time. By the time you're finished, your husband will have said something about a television program, and when it's over, you'll take the dog out one last time, and he'll do his business, and you'll draw your sweater tighter around you, stand a moment under those stars until the usual things draw you back. And finally, the poem that appeared in that anthology that we're all here about. This is called After the Opening, 1932, and it imagines the moment when Edward Hopper discovers what his art has really been all about all along. And his wife's name is Jo, and that's who's referenced here. After the Opening, 1932. Why hadn't he thought of it before? He turns to Jo, to the waiter handing out buttered rolls, glasses of wine, caviar. Everyone must go. He realizes chairs should remain in disarray, windows open, gleaming ends of rump roast steaks and salmon pâtés cooling in neglected browns and pinks. At the Whitney earlier, he was approached by a small man with a quivering grin. If you don't mind my saying so, he began, but Hopper did, and turned to admire his lost faces, lights flirting with darks, the tip of the steeple just brushing the sky. You've really got it, you know, what it's like when no one's around. Hopper took an inward bow, then noticed a white-tied beau in New York restaurant, quiet blue back and perched beige vase towering over a room in Brooklyn where light and afternoon would have done. It will not do. He can scarcely eat. Jo chats with the Rockefellers, the Pierpont Morgans, Guggenheims, while Hopper's lost in an empty room. From now on, he vows, all will be absence. Shadows, the dreams of long gone men, roads into the distance, only roads, eyes, only eyes, with nothing behind them.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've heard some wonderful poems tonight, and I hope you will give a round of applause to our poets. Thank you, poets. Thank you, Tim, Jason, Greg, Marilyn.
All the poets back on stage. Every poet who read it on stage. We do it for the poet.
Everyone get on stage and
All the poets.
take your clothes off. That's the idea. And now we will all sing a chorus.
Shorter people in front. You guys decide. Shorter people in front, taller in back.
We're going to sing a chorus now.
Christina, our hostess. Everybody. This is where the photographers are in their mind. They shot everybody's together. Christina, get in here. Come on. Christina, get in here.
Everything about it is appealing. Everything the traffic will. Nowhere can you get that.
Guys, take a few of these, okay? The Yankees just scored left.
Yeah, they did. The Yankees did. I can't believe that.
The turkey that you know will might be stranded out in the cold. Still you wouldn't trade it for a sack of gold. Let's go on with the show.